Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. Today I want to talk about Charlamagne Tha God, Trevor Noah, and Tomi Lahren. I'll start with Trevor Noah. He wrote an article in the New York Times talking about how he's biracial and how he grew up in South Africa as a biracial person. And given that biracial marriages were illegal in apartheid South Africa, this brother basically had to toe the middle ground and he had to deal with a lot of nuance. So he had to play to both sides. He had to walk the middle ground. And in his article, he talks about the need to reach out to the opposition. He talks about the need to reach out to Trump supporters. He talks about how people should still have an unwavering commitment to racial equality while still breaking bread with the same racist people who've oppressed us. So that's what Trevor Noah basically said in his article. And then you have Charlamagne Tha God. He's come under a lot of controversy or attention because recently he was spotted hanging out with Tomi Lahren in New York City. And people have been asking him about this. And again, this woman is a conservative, racist commentator who's made a lot of controversial statements, offended a lot of people. So people are wondering why this prominent African American radio personality, Charlamagne Tha God, is hanging out with this white racist woman. So in response to questions about this issue, this man basically said, do you want diplomacy or do you want division? And he talked about the need to have a dialogue with her. He said instead of people just complaining with her on social media and all that kind of stuff, he could interact with her in person and tell her how she's wrong. And he went on to say he doesn't believe that she is racist. He just thinks that she's misinformed. And he basically said that if she continues to spew hatred towards Black Lives Matter and Black people, then F her. And in addition to that, Charlamagne Tha God tweeted something that was controversial that received a lot of attention. And this is what he said. He said, it would be dope if a young Black or Hispanic woke woman used social media to create a platform to be a voice like Tomi Lahren did. Now I'm going to break this down in parts. First, I'm going to deal with that tweet. A lot of people were outraged because there are plenty of women who are using social media to create a platform. Just here on YouTube, we know of plenty of YouTubers, women YouTubers, Black women YouTubers who are using their platform to spread their message, to reach out to the world, to let them know about the issues that are important to Black women and Black people. So that's the first thing. So Charlamagne was called out on this, and he eventually was forced to even acknowledge it himself by labeling himself as the donkey of the day. Now, I think what you have here is a situation where this man is ignoring reality. He's ignoring that we live in a society that's a racist society. We live in a society that um, elevates and celebrates women like Tomi Lahren. Women like that are given all kinds of access to attention and media, and they receive a lot of praise and commendation that a lot of Black women social media personalities will not receive. That's something that he neglected to acknowledge before he made this ridiculous tweet. It's just another typical situation where people are looking up to white people, admiring white people while they ignore their own. I mean, this man is showcasing this woman. He was on her show, and there was news about that, how he had a debate with her on his show, and now this tweet. instead of him talking about how great this woman is and how she's used her social platform and all that kind of stuff, her social media platform, this brother, Charlamagne Tha God, could be using his platform to help raise the voices of a lot of prominent uh, black women personalities in social media. He could raise their profile by highlighting them, either on Twitter or on his program, The Breakfast Club. So instead of praising this white woman, he needs to be celebrating black women and helping to give more of them an opportunity to spread their message through social media. So that's my response to that. And also, I'll say this, it's just a shame that you have these guys giving this woman a platform. And I'm going to go into that a little bit later. So let's deal with this other component. And that's this idea that somehow we need to be diplomatic when it comes to these white races, that we need to somehow treat their opinions as if they are valid, that we somehow need to negotiate with these people and dialogue with these people to reach some kind of understanding. These people are not just ignorant. These people have a political agenda that is against the interests of black people. And we need to acknowledge that. We need to acknowledge that these people are our enemies. They are not people that we need to be chit-chatting with and trying to convince and try to persuade. These people have already set their minds. They have already taken their position. They are not going to change their position because you have some kind of dialogue with them. That's not going to happen. In Trevor Noah's article, he talks about how we should maintain our commitment to racial equality while breaking bread with the same racist people who've oppressed us. I don't believe that we need to be breaking bread with them. We need to be breaking their heads for what they are doing, for the negative messages that they are putting out there. By portraying Black Lives Matter and black activists as racist and as terrorists, by making us equivalent to the KKK and all that kind of stuff, that is very dangerous. There are people that literally want to have Black Lives Matter labeled as a terrorist group. And it's not just about the organization Black Lives Matter. These racists see anybody that's fighting against police brutality as Black Lives Matter. What is happening, they are trying to criminalize a movement for social change, a movement to end police brutality. So what they do is they highlight a few extreme statements made by a few fringe people, and they try to make it seem like that's the norm of the movement. They try to associate anybody that's fighting against police brutality with Black Lives Matter. Any kind of act of protest, whether it's affiliated with Black Lives Matter or not, they try to connect it with Black Lives Matter. So if there's some kind of uprising, they try to blame Black Lives Matter for that. That's what they do. And the notion that somehow there's some kind of equivalency between the KKK and Black Lives Matter and black activists, that's preposterous, because Black Lives Matter has not bombed any churches. Black Lives Matter has not lynched any white people. Black Lives Matter is not terrorizing and brutalizing and shooting and burning anybody, unlike what the KKK did. Black Lives Matter is not trying to prevent people from exercising their right to vote or trying to prevent people from exercising their civil rights. That's what the KKK did. They fought to prevent black people from exercising their right to vote, their right to go to whatever school of choice, their right to integrate places of public accommodation. These people exercised real power. They were the policemen. They had power. So this comparison between these two is completely off. And it's a shame that you would have these two black men being willing to dialogue with this woman, thinking that they will actually achieve something by sitting down with her and talking with her and debating with her. All they are doing is raising her profile, bringing more attention to her platform, helping her to recruit more supporters and followers, and basically helping out her bottom line by giving her such a high profile, by debating with her, by hanging out with her, and all that kind of stuff. And I really think, that this guy, Charlamagne, the God, I really think that the man, I mean, for all intents and purposes, wants to get in her pants, man. I mean, these guys talk all this black stuff, talk all this militant stuff, but at the end of the day, they're all infatuated with the white woman. And that's what you have here. More likely than not, that's the case with this guy, Charlamagne Tha God. I mean, he should change his name to Charlamagne the Coon, the way he's behaving, hanging out, chit chatting with a damn racist. I mean, and this brother needs to get his mind right. And this whole situation involving Trevor Noah, I mean, it's a prime example of the confused mulatto. I mean, these people, their identity is all mixed up. Their sense of loyalty is mixed up in many ways, and they're trying to please everybody and trying to make sure everybody gets along, and they want to see nuance and all this and that. There is no nuance to somebody that has spewed the types of hatred that this woman has done. Also, I meant to add one other point, and that's this. It would be one thing if this woman, Tomi Lahren, was a politician, someone who was in a position to change policy. Then I could understand people having this need to try to negotiate with this woman or try to get her to change her position or to pressure her politically to take a different position. That would make sense. But this woman is just a personality, uh, a news personality. She's not someone that's affecting government policy. So there is no need to reach out to her and try to persuade her. And in fact, even in a situation involving a politician, the better strategy would be to remove these type of politicians from office, to mobilize your resources to try to get another candidate elected that would take positions that are more in line with the people's positions, that were more in line with the interests of African Americans. Yeah, so I just wanted to add this point, and that's this. In terms of the negotiations between Nelson Mandela and de Klerk, that's something that Trevor Noah mentioned in his article as an example of people trying to reach a middle ground. And again, that's not analogous to the situation involving Tomi Lahren. She's not a political figure. In that situation, they were negotiating the release of Nelson Mandela, a political prisoner, and they were negotiating over the political rights and changes in South Africa. So that's a completely different situation. And to compare that to some radio personality or some television personality who is a racist is ridiculous. There in South Africa, there was a need for those parties to meet and negotiate about the future of a country. Whereas here it's just some radio personalities, some TV personalities talking about some issues. The two can't be compared. And even in the situation involving Nelson Mandela, you could say that he perhaps over negotiated his position um, and gave up and surrendered too much to the white South Africans. Because right now, even as we speak today, there are still huge disparities in wealth between the white South Africans and the black South Africans. So that's all I have to say about this. Tell me what y'all think. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. Peace.